Welcome to the way of love, Hardcore Course in Miracles. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. This is EARL Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. This is EARL Purdy. We're going to be talking about revelation, time, and miracles. Revelation, time, and miracles. Very powerful.
From deep inside of me and you, it's telling us that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles, right here.
Now let's come together and understand that Christ was born inside of every man. He's waiting for us to choose him as ourselves. When you choose him, you know you choose me too. And everyone becomes a part of you. And then you will know that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
We are one. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles.
Yeah, we are one.
Welcome to Hardcore Course in
We
Miracles.
are
I'm EARL Purdy. I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I've been a teacher and chair of the course and a learner for almost 40 years, and I've been doing it full time for the last 30 years. And I want you to know that the Course in Miracles can do just what it says. It can bring unlimited, powerful miracles into your life. It can correct your perception of things in such a way it will blow your mind. And this is especially for Course in Miracles students, but anybody's welcome to watch.
You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Oh, we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Oh, we are one. I am you, and you are me.
Wow. That was Brother John Christmas. If you like his music, go to www.johnchristmas.com. incredible music. So, welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I'm EARL Purdy, and I love this class. I love this class because I assume that primarily the people that are watching it are either people who really, really sincerely want to learn A Course in Miracles and people who are actually studying A Course in Miracles and want to take advantage of a person who's been obsessed with The Course in Miracles for 4 decades. Hey, y'all, that's me. So I use what The Course in Miracles teaches to teach The Course in Miracles. And the first thing The Course in Miracles says, mighty companions, it's so good to have all of you here with me. The first thing it says, if you want to get the Course in Miracles, the thing that you're going to have to do first is remember only this. And this is from the beginning of the workbook. And it says, you need not believe the ideas. 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 The Course in Miracles says you need not accept the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. Then it says you need not even welcome the ideas. You don't even have to welcome it. You don't have to accept it, and you don't have to believe it. Then it says some of the ideas you will actively resist. So just get that clear as you study the Course in Miracles. You're going to resist some of the ideas. You're going to resist some of the ideas. You just are. There's going to be some things that the Course in Miracles says that you're just going to flat resist. And I'm not going to use this time to try to get any particular person over their resistance. What I'm going to do, I'm the divine repetition teacher. I have one goal after doing the course for so many years, and that's to help everyone hear the course and to remember the instructions. Remember what the Course in Miracles is saying. So that's going to be our goal. I'm going to show you some tricks and some tips about how to study and read the course. Those of you who find it daunting to actually read the book, I'm going to show you some things. Then the Course in Miracles says some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. And I know that each and every one of you knows what hard to believe means. And it says it straight up. The Course in Miracles says you're going to find some of this hard to believe. You're going to find some of the things in the Course in Miracles hard to believe. You're going to find some of the things in the Course in Miracles hard to believe. And then it says in the workbook, at the beginning of the workbook, and others may seem to be quite startling, that some of the ideas in the Course in Miracles are going to seem to be quite startling. So some of the stuff that you hear from me may startle you. Then to me, the most important line of all is the Course in Miracles says, you are not asked to judge the ideas at all. Nobody's asking you to judge these ideas. Nobody's asking you to analyze these ideas. The Course says, I'm not asking you to judge the ideas. That's not what it's about. It's not about judging the ideas. It says their use will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. It says their use will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. Their use. So what does that say? What is that saying? Well, that's saying analyzing the Course in Miracles is not going to get it. Analyzing the Course in Miracles is not going to allow you to get the Course in Miracles. And I'm not going to spend any time on analyzing because I already know it does not do anything but to confuse a person even further. So what we're going to focus on, we're going to focus on hearing the ideas. We're going to focus on what was the instruction that this paragraph says. We're going to focus on using these ideas, even if you don't believe them, even if you don't accept them, even if you don't welcome them. Some of the ideas you're going to actively resist. Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe. Some might be quite startling. But the Course says it's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. So it's the use of the ideas that's going to give the ideas meaning to you and is going to show you that the ideas are true. We're going to be on page 7 in the Course in Miracles text, page 7 in the Course in Miracles text, and we're going to go as far as we can go in an hour or so on the section called Revelation, Time, and Miracles. Chapter 1, the meaning of miracles. Section 2, Revelation, Time, and Miracles. Revelation, Time, and Miracles. I feel you. I can feel you out there. I can feel that the mighty companions have come together. And that's why I do this live and not pre-recorded, is so that we can come together from all over the world, and there are people from all over the world that are watching these broadcasts. I've had over 1 million views of my videos. So the Course in Miracles is extending this message out. And I want you to know that we are star people. We are in this world to bring light into this world. You are a light worker. You are the light of the world. That's what you are. You are a messenger of God. You are a messenger of truth. You may not do it officially in the way that I do it, but I only teach teachers. I only teach teachers. I only teach old souls that are here to be the light in the dream, whether you know it or not. So I'm going to cover the first paragraph. First, I just read through it in my own little special way, and then I go back and I go through line by line so that we can hear exactly what the Course in Miracles is saying. So let me read it to you. Revelation induces complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear. Revelation reflects the original form of communication. Revelation reflects the original form of communication. Revelation reflects the original form of communication between God and his creations, involving the extremely personal sense of creation, sometimes sought in physical relationships. Physical closeness cannot achieve it. Miracles, however, are genuinely interpersonal and result in true closeness to others. Revelation unites you directly with God. Revelation unites you directly with God. Revelation unites you directly with love. Revelation unites you directly with God. Revelation unites you directly with God. Revelation unites you directly with God. Woo! Miracles unite you directly with your brother. 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 Directly with your brother. Neither revelation nor miracles emanates from consciousness, but both are experienced there. Consciousness is the state that induces action. Consciousness is the state that induces action. Consciousness is the state that induces action. Consciousness is the state that induces action, though it does not inspire it. You are free to believe what you choose. You are free to believe what you choose, and what you do attests to what you believe. So that was the first paragraph. And let's go through that right quick. Here we go. The first sentence says, do you know that revelation induces complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear? So how can you tell when you're having a revelation? Temporarily, you won't have any doubt and you won't have any fear. How can you tell when you're having a true revelation? You won't have any doubt and you won't have any fear. So if you have fear and doubt, it wasn't a revelation. Sentence 2. Revelation reflects the original form of communication between God and his creations. So revelation is a reflection of the original form of communication between you and your creator. Revelation reflects the original form of joining minds between you and your creator. The Course in Miracles says to communicate is to join minds. To communicate is to join minds. Let me get this up on my Kindle. I can see it better. Okay. So it says, revelation reflects the original form of communication between God and God's creation, involving the extremely personal sense of creation, sometimes sought in physical relationships. Physical closeness cannot achieve it. Physical closeness cannot achieve it. Physical closeness in and of itself is not going to achieve the revelation, the extremely personal sense of creation. Physical closeness cannot achieve it. Miracles, however, are genuinely interpersonal. One of the Course in Miracles definitions of miracles, it says a miracle is a true perception. A miracle is a correct perception. So you could substitute the term correct perception or true perception or loving perception everywhere that you see the word miracle, and it will be a lot easier and a lot clearer. I'm going to give you a lot of the Course in Miracles definitions that you can use as substitutions to make it easier for you to understand what the Course is saying. So it says miracles, which are correct perceptions, however, are genuinely interpersonal and result in true closeness to others. So what does that mean? It means when you're having an interpersonal experience with someone, it results in true closeness. So whoever you are feeling true closeness, whenever you're feeling true closeness, you are experiencing a miracle, a correct perception. You are experiencing something that's genuinely interpersonal. And so miracles, correct perceptions, that's what results in true closeness to others. I can have a true closeness with you if I'm seeing you correctly. And let me tell you, in this world, if I see you correctly, in this world, if I have a correct perception of you, it's a friggin' miracle. That's why it's called A Course in Miracles, because it's saying, look, if you guys see things correctly, as fear-based and separation-based as you all are, it's a miracle. So you really become close to a person not through having physical closeness. What makes you feel close to a person? What makes you truly close to a person is when you have a correct perception of each other, a loving perception of each other. The next sentence says, revelation unites you directly with God. Revelation unites you directly with love. God is love. God is love. So revelation unites you directly with love. Revelation unites you directly with your Creator. And what does it? And it said earlier, revelation induces complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear. So when you have a temporary suspension of doubt and fear, that's a reflection of a revelation. So having a temporary suspension of doubt and fear, that is what unites you directly with God. So revelation, which is a temporary suspension of doubt and fear, unites you directly with God. So in order to be truly connected to God, which is love, what do? You have to have a suspension of doubt and a suspension of fear. And that's why the Course in Miracles is about the undoing of fear through changing the way that you think. The Course in Miracles is only concerned with perception. It's only concerned with what's going on in your mind. The Course in Miracles says everything that you're perceiving in the outer world is a reflection of what's going on in your mind. It's a projection from your mind. If you want to change the movie that you're looking at, you have to change the film. So you have to change what's being played through the projector. So the Course in Miracles tells us point blank, revelation unites you directly with God. And then the next line says miracles unite you directly with your brother. So that's the same as saying what? Correct perceptions unite you directly with your equal. Because the Course in Miracles, one definition that the Course in Miracles gives of the term brother is the word equal. Equal. So when the Course in Miracles says your brother, the Course in Miracles means your equal. When it says brother, it's not talking about a man. It's not talking about a boy. It's not talking about a masculine gender. The Course in Miracles has its own definitions for the terms that it uses. It uses Christian terminology to share universal spiritual themes. So when it says brother, every time you see the word brother, you could just substitute the term equal. Another definition in the Course in Miracles of brother is a mind that is joined with mind. So I am your brother, that just means my mind is joined with your mind. There's just one mind ultimately, but we'll say it that way. My mind is joined with your mind. I am your equal. You are my equal. That's what brothers mean. And then it says miracles unite you directly with your brother. That's the same as saying what? Correct perceptions unite you directly with your equals. So a miracle is a correct perception. A miracle is a loving perception. The ego is a fearful perception. That's it. That's it. The miracle blesses, the ego damns. The miracle is just the thoughts in your mind that are a reflection of the truth and the reflection of love. And the ego are all the thoughts in your mind that tell you that you're separate, that tells you that you are angry or guilty or fearful or not enough. Then the Course says, neither emanates from consciousness. What does it mean by neither? Revelations do not come from consciousness, and miracles do not come from consciousness, but you experience revelations and true perceptions in your consciousness. You experience miracles in your consciousness. Miracles don't come from your consciousness. You are aware of miracles, which are correct perceptions and revelations in your consciousness. So what does that mean? It means you have to become conscious of revelation. You have to become conscious of miracles. I've got to become conscious of what? Correct perceptions. I have to become conscious of revelation. And it said what? A revelation induces what? Complete and temporary suspension of doubt and fear. So what is consciousness? Now the next sentence is going to tell us what consciousness is. It says consciousness is the state that induces action. So it's your consciousness that moves you to action. It's what you are conscious of. It is what you are aware of that moves you to action. And there aren't but two things to be aware of. You are either aware of what is true or you are aware of what is not true. You are either aware of love or you are aware of what is not love. There aren't but two things to be conscious of. One, ultimately, but right now we'll say there are two things to be conscious of. So the Course in Miracles says consciousness is the state that induces action, though consciousness does not inspire action. You're not always inspired by what you are conscious of, but what you're conscious of is what induces you to action. So the next sentence says something extraordinarily powerful, which is you are free. You are free. You are free. Remember, I'm the divine repetition teacher. I'm helping you to remember and helping me to remember. So what is the next sentence? You are free. You are free. So what are you free to believe? What is it that you are free to believe? You are free to believe what you choose. So what does that mean? It means you can believe anything you want to. You can believe anything you choose to. You can believe anything you choose to. You can accept as true anything you choose to. You are free. You are free to do what? You are free to believe whatever you choose. You are free to believe whatever you choose. And what you do, your behavior really attests to what you believe. So the way that you behave is a witness to what you believe. The way that you behave actually reveals what you believe. The way that a person behaves really is revealing what they believe. And they're not going to believe but two things. They're either going to believe something that's true and based in love, or they're going to believe something that's not true, that's based in fear. They're either going to believe something that's based in the idea that we're separate from each other, or that person's going to believe something that's based on the idea that we're one with each other. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. Kiss. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Just keep it simple. The Course in Miracles says the ego is the part of your mind that believes in complexity and analyzation. So the part of your mind that keeps you in fear and conflict is the part of the mind, according to A Course in Miracles, that keeps you focused in analyzing everything and keeps you focused in keeping everything complicated. So paragraph 1. So what did paragraph 1 basically tell us? It told me that if I'm experiencing a true revelation, then I don't have any doubt and I don't have any fear. It also tells me that when I don't have any doubt and fear, it's a reflection of the way that I originally communicated with my Creator. Then it told me that The physical closeness will never achieve the level of closeness that I would experience if I was in communication with my Creator. And it also told me that miracles, which are correct perceptions, that's what will result in me having a true closeness to others. And what else did it tell me? That revelation, which is one definition of revelation, is, of course, it's a way of communicating and thinking that induces a complete and temporary suspension of doubt and fear, that's what's going to unite me with God, and that's what's going to unite me with you. We are not going to truly unite with each other as long as we are afraid of each other and have all kinds of doubts about each other. Miracles, which are correct perceptions, and revelation, which results in genuine closeness, the Course says neither one of those things, revelation nor miracles, emanate from consciousness, but you experience correct perceptions, you experience revelation in your consciousness, and it's what you're conscious of that induces action. But sometimes what you're conscious of does not inspire action. And what are you free? You are free to believe what you choose. So whatever you believe, you're free to believe it. That's why I don't spend any time as a teacher trying to convince anyone or trying to convert anyone, because in 40 years of studying the Course, there's one thing I can say from working with literally thousands of people. Either a person is ready for the Course in Miracles or they're not. You can't talk somebody into being into the Course in Miracles. If it's for them, no matter what resistance comes up, even if they don't understand a friggin' thing that they're reading, they still keep studying it. They still keep focusing in on it. If it's a person that's really not a Course in Miracles student, there is no amount of explaining that's going to convince them anything about it. So either you're ready for this, you have that little bit of willingness for this, or you don't. If you're ready for it, you can tell because you will do what the Course in Miracles itself says that you need to do in order to learn the Course in Miracles. And rule number one is you remember what it's saying. You put all your energy into remembering what it's saying. You do not put energy into analyzing what it's saying, or even necessarily believing you got to believe it, accept it, or welcome it. You want to remember it whether you understand it or not. I'm looking at some of the comments. Bree says, free to believe whatever I choose. Very deep. Jim says, the way I behave witnesses to what I believe. That's right. The way you behave, that's a witness to what you believe. Greg says, when I'm aware of the music, then my feet are put to action and my fingers begin to snap. Exactly. That's why I use music, is because music taps into another part of us and opens us up. Demola says, the power to choose is powerful. Do you know that the Course in Miracles says that the one remaining freedom that we have in this world is the power to decide? That the one power that you have is the power to decide? Jim says, my ego is the part that believes in complexity and focused on wrong-mindedness. Bingo. Emily says, kiss. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Bree says, that's right, Earl Purdy. They're ready or they're not. But here God comes. Bridget says, what I choose to believe, I experience. That is the rule. You experience what you choose to believe. Chris says, amen. Greta says, I'm free to believe what I choose, and how I behave and what I do is what I choose. That's right. We're repeating it in order to remember it. Jacqueline says, remember, do not analyze. Amen. Latricia says, revelation unites me directly with God. Revelation, which is what? That a state that induces complete and temporary suspension of doubt and fear, that connects you directly with God. So let's go to chapter 1. We're in chapter 1, section 2, paragraph 2. So I'm going to read that right now. Here we go. Revelation is intensely personal and cannot be meaningfully translated. That is why any attempt to describe revelation in words is impossible. Any attempt to describe revelation in words is impossible. Revelation induces only experience, only experience. Revelation induces only experience. Take a breath. Miracles on the other hand, miracles on the other hand, miracles induce action. Miracles induce action. Miracles induce action. Miracles induce action. Miracles induce action, induce action, induce action. Miracles are more useful now. Miracles are more useful now because of their interpersonal nature. In this phase of learning, working miracles is important. Working miracles is important because freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. Freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. Freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. Revelation is literally unspeakable. What did you say? Revelation is literally unspeakable. What did you say? Revelation is literally unspeakable. Because revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. Revelation is an experience. Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. Okay, let's see, mighty companions. Let's see if we can remember. Okay, so the paragraph says in the first sentence, revelation is intensely personal. So when you have a revelation, it's going to be intensely personal. And what does that mean? It means that when you have a revelation, it can't be meaningfully translated. It's going to be hard for you to translate a revelation to somebody. You know, when you have revelation, sometimes the hardest part about it is that you can't really explain it to people. That's why any attempt, it says right here, any attempt to describe a revelation in words is impossible. Words, you can't describe a revelation with words. And then it said, remember it said that a revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. So wherever you see revelation, you could say an experience of unspeakable love. You see it right here before you. I am using the Course in Miracles to teach the Course in Miracles. So the Course in Miracles says revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. So you could say an experience of unspeakable love is revelation. So revelation, which is an experience of, is intensely personal. So revelation, which is an experience of unspeakable love, cannot be meaningfully translated. So an experience of unspeakable love is intensely personal. That's why any attempt to describe an experience of unspeakable love in words is impossible. So what does revelation, what does an experience of unspeakable love induce? It gives you an experience. Unspeakable love is an experience. You cannot explain it. You cannot explain it. If you are truly feeling love, you can't explain it. If you truly feel in love, it is intensely personal. You cannot meaningfully translate it. It is an experience. So unspeakable love is an experience. The next sentence says, miracles, on the other hand, induce action. So revelations, which is an experience of unspeakable love, it says induces experience, but a miracle, which is a correct perception, which is a loving perception, induces action. So having a correct perception induces action, and having unspeakable love gives you an experience that you cannot explain with words. But having correct perception, having loving perception, the Course in Miracles says it induces action. So correct perceptions are more useful right now because of their interpersonal nature. Having correct perceptions are more useful right now. So what phase of learning are we in? It says in this phase of learning, in the phase of learning that you're in right now. Also, the Course in Miracles says perception is learning. Perception is learning. I read the Course easily over 100 times. And I'm telling you, it says perception is learning. So when you say you perceive something, you're just sharing something you've learned. So the Course in Miracles is saying in this phase of learning, working miracles is important. So in this phase of your learning, working miracles is important. And it said, you could say working correct perceptions is important. So what's really important in this phase of your learning is having correct perception. Having correct perception is the most important thing in this phase of your learning, because nobody can force you to be free of your fear. Nobody can force you to do what's necessary to let go of your fear. Freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. Freedom from fear cannot be forced upon you. So you need correct perceptions, miracles, because correct perception will dissolve and alleviate fear. Having correct perceptions, having loving perceptions will free you from fear, free you from guilt, free you from lack. Miracles are correct perceptions. Miracles are correct perceptions. Miracles are loving perceptions. Miracles are loving perceptions. Miracles are loving perceptions. The Course in Miracles teaches that a perception is an interpretation. So when you say you have a perception of something, do you know you are saying that you are having your interpretation of something? A perception is an interpretation. So when you say you perceive me, you're really interpreting me. Right now you are interpreting this broadcast. Right now you are interpreting what I am saying. Right now you are interpreting me. The truth is, perception is interpretation. Perception is interpretation. And a miracle is a correct interpretation. A miracle is a correct interpretation. It's a correct perception. So wherever you see miracles, you could simply say correct perception, true perception, loving perception, forgiving perception. And then you would take all of the abstractness out of the term miracles. So a Course in Miracles is a course in correct perceptions. It's a course in how to have correct perceptions, loving perceptions. And it says right here, the last sentence in paragraph 2, what does it say? It says, revelation is unspeakable. Revelation is unspeakable because it is what? Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. So you don't have to analyze the Course in Miracles. All you have to do is remember the very definitions that the Course in Miracles itself is giving you. The Course in Miracles is saying if you have an experience of unspeakable love, do you know that you can't meaningfully translate it and you're not going to be able to describe it in words. Then it says that when you have unspeakable love, it's an experience. Then it says that they're really useful though, because it does have an interpersonal nature to it when you have an experience of unspeakable love. We were also told that in the phase of learning that we're in right now, then we need to work miracles. We need to work correct perceptions, because nobody's going to force you to get rid of your fear and your anger and your upset and your guilt. Revelation is unspeakable because it's an experience of unspeakable love. So revelation is what? An experience of unspeakable love. You don't have to figure that out. That's the definition. That is the definition. I feel so good to be with you, Mighty Companions. Mighty Companions, I really need to ask your support. I would love for you to share my videos, 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 share the videos that we're doing. Let's get this loving message out. Just on your Facebook page, in your Facebook groups, right at the bottom right here in this live broadcast, right next to where it says write a comment, you see that it has share. So you can share this. We are light workers. If the truth is going to get out in the world, then we need to extend it out. We need to share it. So let's go to the next paragraph. Let's go to the next paragraph. I can feel the energy. We have a powerful energy this evening, and I can feel it. It's a lot going on right now. You got to have your head completely in the sand right now. If you don't intuitively realize that at the level of the dream, we're really at the time that we really need to correct our perception. The Course in Miracles calls this a dream. The Course in Miracles calls what we call the world in our physical life a dream. And it's trying to show us how to allow love to come into our dream, this physical world. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. So let's do paragraph 3. Here we go. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath now. Take a breath now, take a breath, 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 take a breath. I'm going to do paragraph 3. I'm going to do paragraph 3. Yeah. All should be reserved for revelation. All should be reserved for revelation. All should be reserved for revelation. All should be reserved for revelation, to which all is perfectly and correctly applicable. It's okay to have all of revelation. All is not appropriate for miracles. All is not appropriate for miracles. All is not appropriate for miracles, because a state of all is worshipful. A state of all is worshipful. It is not appropriate for miracles, because a state of all is worshipful. It is not appropriate for miracles. It is not appropriate for miracles, because a state of all is worshipful, implying that one of a lesser order stands before his creator. So all is not appropriate for miracles, because a state of all is worshipful, implying that one of a lesser order stands before his creator. You are a perfect creation. You are a perfect creation. Do you hear me now? You are a perfect creation. I say you are a perfect creation and should experience all only in the presence of the creator of perfection. The miracle is therefore a sign of love among equals. The miracle is a sign of love among equals. Equals should not be in awe of one another, because all implies inequality. All is therefore an inappropriate reaction to me. All is therefore an inappropriate action to Jesus. An elder brother is entitled to respect. An elder brother is entitled to respect for his greater obedience, for his greater experience. An elder brother is entitled to respect for his greater experience. An elder brother, like Jesus, is entitled to respect for his greater experience and obedience for his greater wisdom. An elder brother is also entitled to love, because an elder brother is a brother, and to devotion if the elder brother is devoted. So what does that mean? It says, it is only my devotion that entitles me to yours. It is only my devotion that entitles me to yours. It is only my devotion that entitles me to yours. It is only my devotion that entitles me to yours. There is nothing about me that you cannot attain. Jesus of the Course says, there is nothing about me that you cannot attain. I have nothing that does not come from God. I have nothing that does not come from God. I have nothing that does not come from God. The difference between us now is that I have nothing else. I have nothing else but what comes from God. This leaves me in a state which is only potential in you. Wow, that paragraph was loaded. I can't wait to go through that paragraph. So what is it trying to tell us? What is it trying to tell us? It says, chapter 1, section 2, paragraph 3. All should be reserved for revelation. So what did we say revelation was? The Course in Miracles says revelation was an experience of unspeakable love. So all should be reserved for experiences of unspeakable love. Do you know that you should only be in awe of how much love you experiencing? You should be in awe of how much love you're experiencing. So much love that you can't even speak about it. It also says all is not appropriate for miracles, because the state of awe is worshipful, and it implies that one of a lesser order stands before his creator. So you are not to be in awe of having correct perceptions. You're not to be in awe of having loving perceptions. And it's not about worshiping so much, because if I worship you to a large degree, I'm saying that I am lesser than my creator. I'm less than my creator. You are not less than your creator. You are an extension of your creator. You are not less than your creator. You are an extension of your creator. Then it goes on to say why you should not be in awe. It says you should not be in awe because you are a perfect creation. And the Course in Miracles defines creation as an extension of love. The Course in Miracles defines creation as an extension of love. So when it says you are a perfect creation, it is saying you are a perfect extension of love. You are a perfect extension of God. You are a perfect extension of God. Divine repetition, teacher. You are a perfect creation. You are a perfect extension of love. So you should experience awe only in the presence of the creator of perfection. The only being that you should be in awe of is God, the creator, the prime creator. You should be in awe of love, the experience of love, because God is love. So what does it tell us next? The miracle, which is a correct perception, a healing perception, a forgiving perception. I'm giving you all these Course in Miracles definitions of miracle. It says the miracle is therefore what? What is a miracle? It's a sign of love among equals. We are equals and we love each other. We are equals and we love each other. Then that's a miracle. It's a miracle that we're seeing each other as equals. It is a miracle that we are giving each other unspeakable love and correct perceptions. So equals should not be in awe of one another. That means we should not be in awe of one another. We are equals, and we should not be in awe of one another. Why? Because awe implies inequality. If I'm in awe of you, then I see you either greater than me or lesser than me. I see myself as lesser than you if I'm in awe of you. And the Course in Miracles says equals shouldn't be in awe of one another because it implies that we are not equal. Okay? So then Jesus of the Course, because the Course in Miracles is Jesus correcting the perceptions, correcting his teachings. And so it's a channel material. And then Jesus says, awe is therefore an inappropriate reaction to me. So Jesus is saying, do not be in awe of me. Do not be in awe of me. We are equals. We have the same creator. We are both extensions of love. So don't be in awe of me. Don't worship me. Don't worship me. Jesus is saying, don't worship me. We are equals. We're equals. But I'm an elder brother. I'm an older brother. If you want to use an analogy, look at me as an older brother. And so you should respect me. Jesus is saying you should respect me. I'm your older brother. You should respect me. Why? He says, well, you should respect me because I have greater experience than you. I'm your elder brother. I wrote this material. You should be respecting me because I have greater experience than you. I know more than you. I know more than you. I have more experience than you. I'm more experienced than you. That's what our brother Jesus of the Course in Miracles is saying to us. An elder brother is entitled to respect for his greater experience, and you should obey your elder brother because your elder brother has what? Greater wisdom. So Jesus is quite simply saying, don't be in awe of me. I'm entitled to your respect because I have a greater experience than you do. And you should listen to me and do what I say because I have more friggin' wisdom than you do. I'm smarter than, I have more wisdom than you, and I have more experience than you, is what Jesus is saying. I have more wisdom than you, and I have more experience than you, so you should obey what I'm saying. And then Jesus says he's also, an elder brother is also entitled to love because he is a brother. So you should love me because I am your brother. This is what Jesus of the Course is saying. You should love me because, and Jesus of the Course is not a body. Jesus is not a body. Jesus is not a body. Jesus of the Course is not a body any more than you are a body. You're not a body. Jesus of the Course is not a body. You are a light being. You are a spiritual being. You are mind. You are consciousness. You are consciousness expressing it through a physical body. So when you think about Jesus, don't think about Jesus as a man and a body. Think about Jesus as what you are, spirit, and who's trying to help us, right? So it's saying to us that I'm your older brother. You need to respect me for my greater experience, and you should obey me because I have more wisdom than you. I'm entitled to your love because I'm your brother, and you should only be devoted to me if I'm devoted to you. It says it right here. I am also entitled to love because I am your brother, and to devotion if I am devoted. He is also entitled to love because he is a brother, and to devotion if he is devoted. So you are entitled. I'm entitled to your devotion if I'm truly devoted to you. I'm entitled to your devotion if I'm truly devoted to you. So the people who are entitled to your devotion, does that mean that that's the people who are devoted to you? Exactly. That's who they should be. Be devoted to who's devoted to you. Don't be devoted to somebody that's not devoted to you. The Course then says, it is only my devotion that entitles me to yours. So Jesus says, it's because I'm devoted to you that I'm entitled to you to be devoted to me. I'm entitled to your devotion because I'm devoted to you. I'm entitled. It says, it is only my devotion that entitles me to yours. And what does the next sentence say? There's nothing about me that you cannot attain. And Jesus said that in the Bible also, that you could do what he does and even greater things if you believe. And Jesus is saying it again here. The Jesus of the Course, the channel of the Course. And it says, there's nothing about me that you can't attain. Now, who don't understand a sentence like that? You're being told that there's nothing that Jesus did that you couldn't do. That we are all equals. We are all equals. We all have access to the and power. But what's the difference between you and Jesus? What's the difference between you and other wiser, older, intelligent, light beings? The Course in Miracles says, the difference between us now is that he says, I have nothing that doesn't come from God. So what did Jesus say? Everything that I have comes from love. Everything that I have comes from the Creator. Everything I have comes from God. Everything I have comes from God. That's what Jesus is saying. Everything he has comes from love. Love and God, same thing. God is the creator of perfection. C-O-P. God, it's funny. God is the creator of perfection. What does C-O-P spell? Cop. And what is a cop? Supposed to be a higher authority that's enforcing the law. So the Course in Miracles is telling us that there's nothing about, Jesus is saying, there's nothing about me that you can't do, but I have nothing that doesn't come from God. Everything that I have comes from love. Everything that I have comes from God. Then it says, the difference between us now is that I have nothing else. The difference between you and me is that I only have God. I only have love. You don't. You don't only have God in your perception. You don't only have love in your perception. You also have separation. You have anger. You have guilt. You have grievances. You have sickness. You have lack. You have judgment. The Course is saying the difference between you and Jesus is that Jesus has only loving thoughts, and you have loving thoughts and thoughts that are not so loving. Then the Course says, this leaves me in a state that's only potential in you. So Jesus is at a level of consciousness and a state of love and a state of correct perception that is only potential in us. We have the potential to only be focused on God, to only have what comes to us from God. And the truth is, Jesus is going beyond where we are in terms of separation and fear. So that was a very powerful paragraph. So what were the points that were made? That it's okay to be in awe of having unspeakable love. So what is the other thing it told us? That if you are in a state of awe and you're worshiping, then you're dealing with the idea of inequality, and we're totally equal. What else did that paragraph tell us? It told us that we were a perfect creation, that we were a perfect extension of love, and that we should only have awe in the presence of God, which is unspeakable love. What else did that paragraph tell us? That a miracle is a sign that there's love happening among equals. And equals shouldn't be in awe of each other, because if we're in awe of each other, then that means that we think we're not equal with each other. And so That is an inappropriate response to Jesus would be to be in awe of Jesus, because you are equal to Jesus. You're not in awe of your brothers and sisters, but you should respect your older brothers and sisters because of what? Their greater experience, and you should obey Jesus, who is identifying himself as an elder brother, because he's wiser than you. Jesus is wiser than you. So you should obey what Jesus of the Course is saying. Then the Course in Miracles says to us that Jesus says, you know what? I don't want you to be devoted to me unless I'm devoted to you. I'm only entitled to your devotion because I'm devoted to you. And I'm also going to tell you that there's nothing about me that you can also attain. But the difference is I'm only into God, I'm only into truth, and I'm only into love. But you're not. You still have other interests, other focus, and other beliefs. Then it tells us that he is in a state that we potentially can have one day. One day we can only be giving all glory to God and only recognizing that everything that we have comes only from our Creator. Every time you say I, you're just coming from the ego. Anything you say after the word I is your ego, because it's never you doing anything. It's always God. That is, everything comes from God. Every good thing, every loving thing, every helpful thing that happens to you, it did not come from you, your little separate self. It came, your ego. It comes from God. It comes from the Creator. It comes from love. And the difference between us and Jesus is that that's what Jesus realizes, that everything he has comes only from God, but we still think we're the ones that can make things happen on our own in many situations and circumstances. And so what I'm saying to you only applies to you if it applies to you. Okay. Bree says she needed to hear that. Irene is speaking to everybody. Alita says Jesus' devotion to me entitles him to mine. Damola says makes sense, because all Yeshua, which is another term for Jesus, did was simply forgive. Now I'm sure I can pull that off. Kim says I have a split mind. Jesus has only love. That's right. Perfect way of putting it, Kim. Emily says everything I have is from God. I inwardly chuckle when I'm around people and they're telling me all the things that they are going to do. I am going to do this. I am going to do that. I like this. I don't like that. I want it to be this way. I want it to. That's all. That's ego. When I do it, it's my ego, and when you do it, I see it as your ego. A conscious being is always referencing the Creator as being the cause of all the good and everything they want to happen in their life. That's an easy way to tell whether you're in the presence of a being that's awakening or if you're in the presence of a being that's still spiritually asleep. It's how much they use the word I in terms of what's going to happen to them. Emily says everything I have is from God. Alita says there's nothing about Jesus that I cannot also attain. Vanessa says I'm a perfect creation. Everything comes from God. Everything comes from God only. Kim says I must remember that of myself. I can do nothing, but through me God does all things. I love these comments, and I want to also encourage those who don't normally make comments to also start to join and to communicate, because I'm not analyzing the course. If you got the book, you'll see that all I'm doing is bringing to life as best I can what's on the page. I'm not giving you EARL Purdy's interpretation. If I say to you that Jesus is saying to you that he deserves your respect because of his experience, and I say to you that Jesus says you would be smart to obey him because of his greater wisdom, that's what the book is saying. Then it says that you should not be any more devoted to Jesus than Jesus is devoted to you, and Jesus is devoted to you, so he's entitled to your devotion. Then it says very plainly that there's nothing about Jesus that you cannot do and that you cannot achieve. But the difference is Jesus is smart enough to know that everything that comes to him comes from God, and we still don't get that yet. And we still don't get that yet. And we think that we're the ones that make things happen to us, and that we can do things on our own, and everything's got to go the way we think it should go, as if we know our own best interest and the best interest of everybody around us. So the state that Jesus is in is just potential to us. That level of love, that level of wisdom is potential to us. But fortunately, we got A Course in Miracles, and we got the Holy Spirit who will teach us, who will help remove our blocks. And that is absolutely the truth. That is absolutely the truth. That is the message that we want to focus in on right now. Okay, I want to tell you that this has been very powerful. I'm going to do a quick recap and I'm going to do a quick review. I am a full-time teacher, and I appreciate those of you who realize that enough to share and be a channel to support my teaching ministry from God. All of it comes from God, but it has to come through channels in this world. So thank you, those of you who support this teaching ministry and see value in it. If you'd like to make a donation to my teaching ministry, just go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, P-U-R-D-Y. I am also a sole purpose astrologer and numerologist, and I've been doing that for over 40 years, and it's what led me to my spiritual path and also got me ultimately into the Course in Miracles. And I use that skill in my personal sessions that I do with people that are called clarity sessions. So if you really want to get a deeper understanding of what's going on in your life right now and have the level of success and happiness that you know you deserve, and if you would like some answers to the question, what am I and what am I here to do and what is my function in this world, that's what I can also share with through the combination of the course as well as the experience that I've had as a sole purpose astrologer. It's called a clarity session. Go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and it explains it in detail. There is a financial investment. It explains it in detail, and you can self-book an appointment with me right there online. And it doesn't matter whether you're here, I can do them on the phone, also or Skype. So don't stay stuck, is what I'm saying. You know that there's a part of you that feels stuck, and you know you're ready to get past that, and no matter what area of your life you're feeling stuck in. All right. Also, I do 3 Facebook Lives per week. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do Hardcore Course in Miracles. Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do a Course in Miracles class on Facebook Live and also in front of a live audience here in Denver that you're welcome to come and be a part of. And on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do The Way of Mastery, another channel book by Yeshua Jesus that is so, so powerful and helpful. I feel like we're so doggone blessed, and I'm blessed to have you. I'm blessed to have you, and I'm thankful to each and every one of you, and more than I could ever put into words. I have revelation with you. I have unspeakable love, and you're totally welcome to come to my live presentations here in Denver. Can't you feel it? Can't you feel the mighty companions? So let me do a quick review of the 3 paragraphs that we've covered, because all it takes is just one of these lines, and if you really work it, you would see yourself experience the miracle. So here we go. Here we go. Revelation time and miracles. Revelation time. Don't forget to read the rest of it. Revelation time and miracles. Revelation time and miracles. You know what? This is such an important section. I think I'll continue where we left off next week. Okay, so here we go. Revelation time and miracles. So how do you know when you're having a revelation? When you know you're having a revelation because there is a complete suspension of fear and doubt. So if you're having a revelation, there is no fear or doubt. So when there's no fear or doubt, when there's no fear of doubt, then you're having true communication. And your true communication with the Creator, there is no fear and there is no doubt. And it results in a closeness that you just can't create at a physical level. There is a closeness that you can have with somebody that goes beyond the physical. You can be closer to somebody than the physical, is what we were told. Also, we were told that miracles, which are correct perceptions, unite you directly with your equals. Us having correct perception unites us with each other. The Course in Miracles is a teaching on how to have correct perceptions. And through correct perceptions, we unite directly with each other. Consciousness. You experience everything in your consciousness. You experience love in your consciousness. You experience fear in your consciousness. And you are free to believe what you choose. You are free to believe what you choose. And what you do, how you act, how you behave, that witnesses to what you believe. Did you hear me? 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 I'm a divine repetition teacher. Then the next thing that we were told was that revelations are intensely personal, which means you cannot meaningfully translate a revelation. Don't try to explain a revelation. Don't try to explain a revelation. Just let people see the experience of the love that comes from that revelation. Revelation induces only experience. And when you have a miracle, when you have a correct perception induces action. So in the phase of learning that you're in right now, mighty companion, do you know that in the phase of learning that you're in right now, working miracles is really important. Working correct perceptions are really important, because no one can thrust freedom on you. No one can thrust love on you. So freedom from fear can't be forced on you. And revelation is unspeakable. Revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. So when you're having a revelation, it's an experience of what? Unspeakable love. So you should be only in awe of unspeakable love, which is revelation. It's okay to be in awe of how much love you're experiencing. But you shouldn't be in awe of correct perceptions, which is the miracle. And you are not lesser than your creator. And you're not lesser than each other. But you should only have awe in the presence of God. So what is a miracle? A miracle is a sign of love. It's a sign of love among equals. So we are experiencing a miracle right now. We are actually experiencing a miracle right now. So what did Jesus say? Jesus says, awe is an inappropriate reaction to me. Stop worshiping me. Jesus is saying, will you please stop worshiping me? We are equals. We are equals in love. Now, I'll admit that as an elder brother, I am entitled to your respect, is what Jesus says in the Course, because of my greater experience. I'm more experienced than you. Jesus is saying, I'm more experienced than you, so you should respect me. But even more than that, Jesus is saying, you should obey me. Stop getting all caught up in anything. But if you're a Course in Miracles student, then stop getting caught up in the Jesus thing in terms of your old programming around Jesus. The Course in Miracles is saying that Jesus is saying, you know what? That you should respect me because I have greater experience than you, and you should obey me because I have more wisdom than you, and I'm devoted to you. And since I'm devoted to you, you should be devoted to me. Since I'm devoted to you, you should be devoted to me. And then Jesus says, there's nothing about me that you can't attain. There's nothing about me that you can't achieve. That's what Jesus of the Course says. And then Jesus of the Course says, I have nothing that does not come from God. I have nothing that does not come from God. I have nothing that does not come from love. Then it says, the difference between us is that I don't have anything else but what comes to me from God. And you still think that you have things that come from something else other than God. Your good credit, your job, who you know, being liked, all the other stuff that we think, take your degree, your skills. You think you have other things. And the Course is saying, Jesus says, I have nothing that doesn't come from God. And the difference between us now is that I have nothing else. So that means that Jesus is in a state which is only potential in you. You have the potential to only know love. You have the potential to only have unspeakable love. You have the potential to only have miracles. You have the potential to only have unspeakable love. You have all of the potentials that Jesus the Christ had. That's what we just heard. Mighty companions, it's been my pleasure, my healing, to share with you once again. Listen and watch this over and over and over and over and share it, because it's all about remembering. It's all about repetition. It's all about repetition. Remember, don't forget. Remember, don't forget. Remember, don't forget. Remember, remember, remember. Don't focus on analyzing it. Focus on remembering it. Mighty companions, may the course be with you. Thank you. I love you. See you next time. I'm so glad that you're meeting with me live. It feels so good. Mwah.